What's up, guys? Making this video to kind of give you a brief overview of kind of how kind of like a stress, anxiety, depersonalization flowchart. Maybe you didn't realize it, but there's some gradual steps, and a lot of times they run together. But there's some gradual steps in declining mental health, and I don't mean that once you reach the bottom of declining mental health that you'll go crazy. I mean just in general, how it kind of has a snowball effect on your mental health and your anxiety period. And I'm gonna give you a quick overview of how it's gonna be. I've got a chart here. Basically, what I'm indicating here is how it all starts. First, and I'm sorry, I'm a terrible drawer and I have terrible handwriting. But first one, 100% mental health. You are happy, healthy. Nothing's really going on. Sorry, I dropped that. But nothing's really going on in your life that's negative. But then let's say you run into some stress, and let's say you've got something going on at work or in your life, and you start to have some stress. Let's say it lasts a few months. All these are these aren't foolproof numbers or foolproof situations. This is just a kind of this is a scenario in my head, and this is a scenario on how the snowball effect of depersonalization and bad mental health comes about. So let's say you get stressed for a couple months, something's going on, and let's say that takes your mental health cup or whatever, and from 100% of happy and healthy, it takes you down to a 75. So now you're right here. Well, since you're in that 75% mental health capacity, you start to lose let's say you start to lose a little sleep from that, because that stress that took you down to a 75 has now started to stress you out so much because it's starting to affect your sleep. And we all know that once you start having bad quality sleep, everything else gets worse. And when you stress and you start to have bad quality sleep, the effect of stress on your body only gets greater because you can't cope with it as well because you're not at 100% mental health. So that stress that's caused that lack of sleep has now taken you down even further, let's say to 50% of your mental health capacity. And that stress has now caused, lack of sleep, and it's caused you to decline even more, because not only did that stress cause lack of sleep, but that lack of sleep caused more stress because you're tired, you're cranky, you're in a bad mood, and your coping abilities are dropping even more. All right, so now, again, and then that stress from that has now caused you to drop even more down to your 25% mental health capacity. And the lack of sleep, more stress caused by lack of sleep, and now you're starting to worry about that, has now gotten you down into the 25% category, and you're stressing out, and it's not getting any better. You're still having bad sleep, you're still stressing out more, you're still worrying, and it's only building on itself, and you're not giving any breaks or any time like that to heal. And you're on the edge of cracking. You're on the edge of a full-on mental breakdown once you've reached this point. And then you don't ease up. You keep stressing, you keep punishing your mind, you keep not allowing it to heal. And all of this is backwards because I wrote it, by the way, so don't even try to read this. I'm saying everything that I've written here, just in a different way. But you're here, you're about to crack, it's getting worse, and you're not giving your mind mental health, you're not giving it any ups. you're only further stressing out and making it worse. And finally, when it can no longer take it, you've become completely overwhelmed by all these things, and you're not giving it a break, and you're not doing what you have to do to mentally heal and to chill out. You reach this point, and that's when you get to where you're full on DPDR kicks in. It's your full on mental breakdown right here. And it, you get your DP, your DR. That's where you can reach a hellacious level of anxiety, depression, however it affects you. And, that's just your full on, you've reached this because of full on mental fatigue. Your brain's exhausted, you can no longer handle it, you're totally overwhelmed by life, and you just shut down. And that's when you have your full on DPDR episodes hits. And that's how you reached it. A lot of people think that, oh, this came from nowhere, this came out of nowhere. And that's why I'm such a big proponent, and I think that's the word to use. That's why I'm such an advocate about writing things down and writing out an event calendar to really see how you got there. Because a lot of times, like for me, I thought this came out of nowhere until I went back and realized, holy shit, these things have been building over time, and it finally comes to fruition, and you're like, holy shit. You don't notice these signs and things when you don't know anything about psychology or mental health. But if you go back and you write down the steps and stuff of, before you got, or your life events before you got to depersonalization, derealization, or maybe before you got to where you have extremely bad anxiety, or before you got extremely depressed, whichever you have, this plays for all of them. And you go back and you start to realize, wow, I've been slowly progressing towards this, and I didn't even realize it. And I could have taken these steps to prevent it and to heal, but I didn't. And a lot of times understanding how you got there gives you the ability to get back away from it, because you realize how you got there, and you realize the things you need to change in your life to get back on the right track. And you can do it. Like I say, you took a it's the snowball effect. One thing causes this to get worse, which causes this to get worse, which causes that to get worse, and you end up in a round and round stress cycle. And it just has a snowball effect. One thing kicks it down the hill, and unless you get down there and stop that bad boy before it has time to get bigger, it only rolls down the hill, and it only gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you realize these steps and these symptoms and these signs, you can hop in there and take care of it, and so-called put a damper on it before it gets out of control. And even if it gets out of control, you can get back out of it and get back on the right path. It just takes longer. But if you nip it in the bud first thing, then and you realize these signs, you can really jump in there and start to put a lid on it before it gets out of control. And I hope that helps, because it helped me really realizing that I got myself there consciously. That's not something that just happened. I just didn't realize I was doing it, because until you're awake, until you understand those patterns and how that snowball effect happens, it can just seem like it came out of nowhere. But if you really go back and write down the events and understand how you got there, you realize that you could have prevented it. You just were ignorant to the fact that you could have. Hope this helps, guys. Like, subscribe, questions, put them in the comments. I'll try to make a Q&A video. Thanks again, guys. I'm praying for you. Hope you get better. Thanks for watching.